Let me tell you at the beginning, you know, when you're dealing with exponents, there are so many ways to do it, okay? So my way is the way I use, you know, and I myself alter my way every now and then, according to the question, do things. So with the first one here, we have a negative exponent outside of the bracket. So what does this do? It flips everything inside. So what this becomes, it becomes 5b to the 6 over 2a cubed, and this automatically becomes positive 3. So what the negative exponent does, it flips what's inside the brackets. And here now you just distribute the exponent inside. When you're doing that, remember this 5 has a 1 as an exponent, and this 2 has a 1 as an exponent. So an exponent outside of the brackets gets multiplied into the exponents inside the brackets. So what this ends up being, it ends up being 5 cubed b to the 18 over 2 cubed a to the 9, which in turn gives you 125 b to the 18 over 8 a to the 9, and that's your final answer right there. Okay, so the second question right here, okay, so we could do the same thing, flip all of this and make this -2 positive. But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna have a different approach. What I want to do, I want to change all the exponents inside the brackets to positive. How do I do that? So the 5 here doesn't have a negative exponent, so it'll stay what it is. Okay. And also the -2 doesn't have a negative exponent, so it stays what it is. And we still have that -2 here. Now this x to the -3 has a negative exponent, so this x to the -3 could go to the bottom, and then the exponent becomes positive. The same for this y to the -3 could come to the bottom, and then the exponent becomes positive. With the same token, x to the -4 on the bottom could just jump to the top, and then the exponent will change to positive. Y to the -2 here could go to the top, and the exponent becomes positive. Now, what I'll do before even flipping all of this, I want to reduce inside the bracket. So we have 5 over -2, which cannot reduce. But you see this x to the 3 divided by x to the 3 gives you 1, and x to the 4 divided by x to the 3 gives you x. And this y squared divided by y squared gives you 1, and y cubed divided by y squared gives you y. So we end up with 5x over -2y all to the -2. Now at this stage, you could flip all of this and make the exponent positive. So you end up with -2y over 5x to the power of 2. So this -2 flips everything inside the brackets, and then the exponent becomes positive. Now the negative to the power of 2 gives you positive. 2 to the power of 2, because remember there's a 1 here, so this becomes 2 to the power of 2, which gives you 4. And the y has a 1, 2 times 1 is 2, so that becomes y squared. And also 5 becomes to the power of 2, which is 10, and this x becomes x squared. Some students make the mistake by multiplying the exponent into the number. No, you cannot do that. The number has a 1 on top. So you multiply the exponent into the exponent. So this becomes 5 squared, which gives you 25. I don't know why I wrote 10 there, because I wanted to talk to you about the mistake. So I wrote the mistake instead of writing the answer. So just here, let me change that. This is supposed to be 25. Just to clarify, you know, when you have 5 here, it's to the power of 1, and the exponent gets it multiplied into the exponent inside the bracket. So that becomes 5 squared, which is 25. And then the same thing, 2 has a 1 here, so it becomes 2 squared, which is 4. And the negative, when you have an even exponent outside, it becomes positive. This was odd, the negative always stays a negative. And this is your final answer for this. We'll explore one more question. So here's the last question. The last question is a bit longer. So you have one brackets multiplied by the other bracket. So you remember what I did in the first question. I want to simplify within inside before I deal with this. So here, the 4 and the 3 you cannot reduce or do anything about that. But this x to the -2 goes to the bottom, becomes x squared. That y to the -1 goes to the bottom, becomes y to the 1. And this x to the -3 goes to the top and becomes x cubed. And this y cubed has a positive exponent, so it just stays what it is. So what I'm trying to tell you here is when you have a negative variables with negative exponents, you can just switch them from top to bottom or bottom to top. And that will change the exponent to positive. So that's what I did with this, and this, but everything else stayed what it is because this here has a positive exponent, so just stayed what it is. And I'm gonna do the same thing here. Okay, but while I'm doing this, I know this two goes into itself once and it goes to 6 3 times. So let's get rid of that. And then x to the -4 goes to the bottom. So let's just write the 3 right here. We have a 3 now on the bottom. And x to the -4 goes to the bottom, becomes x to the 4. And the y squared there stays what it is. And this x to the -3 goes to the top and becomes positive. And this y to the -1 goes to the top and becomes y to the power of 1. And the y squared already has a positive exponent, so it doesn't change places. And this is what I have now. Yeah. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna reduce, and here I multiply these two. So this x squared goes into itself once, and it goes into x cubed, x times. So what I have 4x on top over 3y to the 4 on the bottom, all to the power of -2. And in the other brackets, x to the 3 goes into itself once, goes into x to the 4, x times. So what I have here, I have y times y squared, which is y cubed, all over 3x to the power of 3. Yeah. Which gives me, now here, and this one here, I'm gonna flip, make the exponent positive. So that will give me 4, flip again. So will give me 3y to the 4 over 4x. And then this exponent becomes positive. So I'm changing this to positive, but to do that, I have to flip what's inside, and that's what I did. Times, and this here, I could just start distributing the exponent inside the bracket. So you multiply the exponents. So this will give you y to the 9. And 3 has a 1, of course. So that becomes 3 to the power of 3, which is 27. And x has a 1 also, so that becomes x cubed. Which gives me, so 3 squared is 9, y to the 8, all over 4 squared is 16, x squared, times y to the 9, 27, x cubed. Now when we multiply, we could reduce fraction. 9 goes into itself once, it goes into 27 3 times, and therefore my final answer would be y to the 17 all over 3 times 16 is 48, and x to the 2 times x to the 3 is x to the 5. So we have y to the 17 over 48, x to the 5. So y to the 17 is on top, and on the bottom is 48, x to the 5. And that's the final answer. So hopefully this makes sense for Ibrahim that sent me this question. Hopefully this helps you and helps your friends that are doing the summer school right now. Anyways, don't forget to hit that like button, share with family and friends, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for your support. Till next time, bye-bye.